The start of World War III. Key triggers. What if the next World War doesn't start with soldiers on the ground but with a single keystroke? In an era where every global decision feels like a tightrope walk, are we closer to World War III than we think? Let's uncover the key triggers that could ignite a global conflict and why the stakes have never been higher. Trigger 1. The Powder Keg of Taiwan. Imagine a geopolitical chessboard where Taiwan is the queen, and the US and China are rival kings. Taiwan's strategic importance as a tech hub and a democracy in Asia makes it a lightning rod for conflict. China's increasing military maneuvers near its shores signal an ambition to reclaim what it sees as its territory. But here's the twist. Any aggression from China could pull the US and its allies into the fray under long-standing defense commitments. The result? A domino effect in the Indo-Pacific that drags multiple nations into a larger, catastrophic conflict. Trigger 2. Ukraine's domino effect. Now let's pivot to Ukraine, a simmering hotbed of tension between NATO and Russia. The invasion of Ukraine wasn't just about borders, it was a power move to challenge Western dominance. The world's response, sanctions, weapons, and a united NATO, may have slowed the Kremlin, but they've also escalated global divides. Here's the kicker. NATO's Mutual Defense Clause means that any Russian aggression spilling over into neighboring countries could immediately spark a larger war. And with both sides bristling with nuclear weapons, the stakes couldn't be higher. Trigger 3. The South China Sea Showdown. The South China Sea, where trade routes worth trillions intersect and territorial claims collide. China's creation of artificial islands and militarization of the region is a bold claim to dominance. But the US and its allies have pushed back hard, asserting freedom of navigation through naval patrols. One miscalculation, a collision, an accidental missile launch, could escalate this maritime tug-of-war into an all-out conflict involving the world's superpowers. Trigger 4. The silent spark of cyber warfare. Here's a frightening thought. What if the first shots of World War III aren't fired but coded? Cyber attacks have become the new battleground, targeting critical infrastructure, banking systems, and even nuclear launch systems. Imagine a coordinated attack that cripples a nation's power grid or spreads disinformation, leading to chaos and retaliation. Cyber warfare is a Pandora's box. Once opened, the lines between state and rogue actors blur, making escalation almost inevitable. The role of alliances. NATO, BRICS, and beyond mutual defense pacts like NATO's Article 5 and the growing influence of BRICS create a global web of alliances that could transform any regional skirmish into a world war. An attack on one NATO country means war with all. Conversely, BRICS nations could counterbalance Western alliances, creating two opposing blocs ready to clash. These alliances aren't just shields, they're triggers, ensuring that any conflict involving one member spirals into a larger crisis. What happens next? The reality is chilling. A spark in one of these hotspots could ignite a chain reaction that pulls the world's biggest powers into a catastrophic conflict. And in a world armed with nuclear weapons and advanced technology, the margin for error is razor thin. Global peace feels precarious because it is. Whether the trigger comes from a geopolitical hotspot, a cyber attack, or a misstep in diplomacy, the consequences would be unthinkable. Understanding these triggers is the first step toward avoiding them.